In this video, I'm going to show you how you can create your own AI voice assistant within WhatsApp. I don't know about you, but WhatsApp is my favorite tool to use when it comes to communication, and this allows me to simply ping off a voice message to my AI agent and let it do whatever I want it to do, such as, book in meetings into my calendar, send emails, get updates on my business and certain metrics that are happening, basically anything that I want. And doing this via voice within WhatsApp is super easy. So I'm going to walk you through exactly what happens, how it works, and I'm also going to give you the template for this for free, so you don't need to mess around with creating it yourself. You can simply download it and get using it within seconds. Let's get into it. Okay, so this is the workflow here. This is the brain. This is the thing that's doing everything. This is built in a bit of software called n8n. Really great bit of software for building anything to do with AI, AI processes, AI agents, AI tools. I'll leave a link down below if you want to go check it out and you haven't done so already. So what I'm going to show you is it working, and then we're going to break it down and see how every little component works. So let me open up my WhatsApp and I can say, hi there, what is the current weather in Da Nang in Vietnam? And we'll send that off. And we're going to be able to see that this is going to run through and it's going to start working. There we can see it. Now I'm going to go through what's happening at each step in a little bit more detail later, but let's just see the output first and know what we're building towards. And then you can see I've got a response, and let's click play.
The current weather in Da Nang, Vietnam is as follows. Temperature, 33 degrees.
And there we go. We won't listen to the whole thing. I can also ask it in text, so I can say, what is the weather like in London? Send that off, and we can see that because I asked it in text, it's going to respond in text as well. And then we can see it processing, and then we get back. The current weather in London is as followed, and we've got the information there. Now, at the moment, this agent here is only set up to deal with weather, but this is not a tutorial on how to build an AI agent which connects to your emails and connects to your bank account and connect to your calendar and whatever. I've got those, and you can go and have a look at those if you want to see them. We're just using a very basic example of just going and using this tool here to get the weather for a location that specifies. But you could hook it up to anything that you wanted to hook it up to. Okay, so let's go through this step by step and see exactly what's happening and where. Okay, so to start with, we have got a WhatsApp trigger on the front, and we've got a WhatsApp message, or in fact, we've got two on the end. One of them is the audio output, and one of them is the text output. Now, in order to set this connection up with WhatsApp, you're going to need to go through a process with Facebook Business Suite, or I think it's called Meta Business Suite now, and you need to go through and create a WhatsApp app. I'm not going to cover this in this video. I've created another video for that, and I've linked that down below in the description where you can see how you set this up. Once you have set up WhatsApp with n8n, you will have two sets of credentials. You will have a credential on the input, which is here, and you'll have a credential on the outputs, which are here. And this will allow you to receive messages from WhatsApp and to send messages to WhatsApp. So let's trigger just the trigger, and we're going to go back over to WhatsApp, and I'm going to say, what is the weather in San Francisco at the moment? We're going to send that off, and we're going to see that in a second, there we go. WhatsApp has caught this message. If we have a look at it, we can see that it's got an audio message. Now, the next step is this step here called is voice. And as you might be able to tell by the name, this is determining, is the message that we just received voice or is it text? And I'll say at this point, actually, if you want this entire workflow here, so you don't have to build it out yourself, you can simply download it, then click on the link that's in the description. It will bring you to this page here. You can simply download this and start using it within n8n within seconds. Anyway, let's have a look at it. So we've got the is voice. And what we're doing here is we're simply using this JavaScript statement here, which is going to check to see if this piece of audio, which is this here, exists. That's what this bit means here with the two exclamation marks. Does it exist? If it does exist, then it's going to be true. If it doesn't exist, it's going to be false. So then we have a switch. And the switch here is saying, is it voice or is it text? And if the previous is voice is true, then it's going to go down the is voice. If it's not true, then it's going to be text, and it's going to go through the text flow. So let's go through the voice flow because that's what I've done. So is voice, we can see true comes out of that because it is voice. Switch is then going to run that through this loop up here. So this loop and these three nodes here are the three nodes that we need in order to take that audio message and turn it into text, because the AI agent here, which is the brain, can only deal with text. It can't deal with audio, can't deal with images, it has to deal with text, and therefore we've got to convert those into text. So what we're doing here is we are first getting the URL of the audio message. So when we create the audio message, it gets uploaded to WhatsApp, and then it will have a URL. So if we click into this, so we can see here what we're doing is we're getting the ID of the WhatsApp message. If I open up this WhatsApp node on the left-hand side, we can see it's here within the audio ID, and we've dragged that in here. And if we execute this, this is going to return us a URL, where is it? Here. And that's essentially where that voice message is hosted. Okay, then what we're doing here is we are simply going and getting that file from the URL. Is simply a GET request through an HTTP node. And the only difference is we have to put in a authentication, because not everyone can access these files, only people with the right access. You don't want everyone to be able to access your private voicemails, right? Or your private voice notes or whatever you're sending on WhatsApp. So on the authentication, we need to go predefined credential type. Then credential type needs to be WhatsApp API, and then you will find your list of APIs, which you've already created for those beginning and end steps with WhatsApp. And you simply want to select that. And then when you pass in this URL, execute step, you're going to get back a binary file, which is great. Then what we can do with this binary file is create this node here, which is going to transcribe that, I think it's an OGG file, which is an audio file, into text. Now for this, I am using OpenAI. However, you can use lots of other transcribers out there if you want to. OpenAI is just the simplest I find. So I'm going to click on execute. All we're doing here is connecting to my OpenAI account and inputting data, because data is the name of this binary file. And there we go. It has given me the text. It says order, whereas I think I said hi there, but maybe that's just my British accent that it's not understanding. But it's got like what we meant by the message, right? So that's working properly. Now is a good time to mention that if you want to learn even more about n8n, if you want to have your questions answered about how you can implement this, if you want to learn how you can sell AI services or actually make a difference to your business with AI, then come across to the community. I'll leave a link in the description. Here I can give you one-to-one help. I've got a load of like video courses where I've got tens of hours of me giving you lessons on things such as the AI foundations, how to actually apply AI to business, AI agents within n8n, over 2,000 different templates, and more. If you're interested, I'll leave a link in the description. Anyway, back to it. So we've got that transcription. Now that transcription is going to feed back into this node here, which is the agent input. Now what this node does is it will take the output of either the transcription or just the text input. It will then prepare that to go into the AI agent, because as I said, the AI agent can only accept text. So what we're doing here is getting the text either from the transcribe node or just from the input. So if we open this up, we can see the input is simply the text, which is going to be from the transcription because that's the previous step, or it's going to be from the message itself. So if we execute this, we can see we get that text, which was from here. Now, the reason that we need this node and we can't just have it running straight in from this is that sometimes there's going to be text. So we need this in order to be able to set what is the input. Okay, so we've got our input. Now, here is our AI agent. Now, our AI agent has got several different things connected up to it. Firstly, it's got its intelligence. This is like the brain. And for this, we are using, I believe, ChatGPT 4.0 Mini through OpenRouter. OpenRouter just allows me to connect to loads and loads of different LLM models. You can see I've got like DeepSeek, I've got Claude, I've got loads here. But essentially, I'm connecting to OpenAI. It doesn't really matter too much, especially for this one here, because it's very, very simple, and even the most basic, cheapest model can do a good job. So we've got the intelligence, then we've got the memory. What this allows you to do is have a back and forth conversation, and it's going to remember what you talked about previously rather than just be like a goldfish and forget every message after you send it to it. Then we have our tool. So again, you can connect up whatever tools you want to this. However, in this scenario, I'm just going to connect weather, but you could connect, literally anything. It could be to automatically create emails on your behalf. It could be to read your emails. It could be to create email newsletters. It could be to check your calendar, to book in things to your calendar, just anything. But here we're going to be doing just the weather. And you can see here that AI has to pass in several parameters, such as the city and the language. Then in the actual AI agent itself, we need to set this to define below. So the prompt is going to be define below, and our input is simply going to be that previous node. So we've already prepared it. We're just going to grab it from the previous node. Now, if you are running a more complex agent, you do want to give this a system prompt here or a system message. But since this is very, very basic, I don't need to. So let's run this, and we're going to see that it's going to use this intelligence. It's going to go over, and it's going to get the weather. And if I open this up, we can see on the output that the current weather in San Francisco is as follows, and it gives us the information which it has got from OpenWeather, which is like an API to connect to the weather. Okay, cool. So we've got our output. Now we just need to send it over to WhatsApp and send it over to the user, because if we open up WhatsApp, we can see I still don't have a message. So what we need to do now, when we've got our output, is determine again, was the input voice or not voice? Because if it was voice, we want to respond with voice. If it was text, we want to respond with text. So what this is doing is we're simply looking at the isVoice node. So over here, isVoice, and it's saying, is it voice or is it text? Essentially, it's the same switch as this. Now, the reason that we are using an isVoice node and then a switch node rather than just one if node, because you could do that, is that we wouldn't be able to reference this node again if we just had a single if statement. So we have the isVoice node here, so we can reference it again with a switch node. Okay, so let's run this, and because it is because it is voice, it's going to go up here and do this. However, if it was text, it would simply send whatever we got from our AI agent, send it over to WhatsApp. And that's essentially it if it is text. However, if it is audio, if it's voice, then what we need to do is generate audio. Now, you could use any provider that you want. 11 Labs is the best out there at the moment, but in this example, I have used OpenAI simply because it is the easiest in this case. So I've hooked it up, I've chosen the model, and I've simply put in the output from the AI agent as the input for the voice generator. We're going to execute this step here, and we're going to get out a binary file. There we go. And if I downloaded this, you'll see that I'm able to hear the message already. So the next thing we need to do is convert the format. So in order to make it like a voice message rather than just a file, we need to convert it into this specific format here. And to do that, we're just going to run this little bit of code here. So instead of copying this out and pausing the video and copying this out, just download the template and you'll be able to get this for free. So let's execute this. And we should, there we go, get another binary file, this time with this data format here. Then all we're doing is sending a message on WhatsApp, but we need to make sure the message type is audio rather than text, which is the normal default. We then are going to take audio from n8n rather than WhatsApp or link, and then we're going to give it the name of data because that's what our binary file is called. And we'll go execute step, give it a second. Here we go, come on, there we go. Message sent, essentially, is what that's saying. Then if we come back over to WhatsApp, we can see that we now have a voice message, and I can play it.
The current weather in San Francisco is as follows. Temperature, 18.2 degrees.
There we go. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but there we go. That is how you can create this. And if I ask a similar question, but in text, say, what is the weather in Rome? We can see that the same thing is happening. However, it's not going up this flow here, and it's not going up this flow here. Instead, it's just passing the information straight through and out here. So there we go. That is how you can create your own WhatsApp AI voice assistant using n8n and using a few other tools. In order to set up the connection with WhatsApp, do go ahead and watch that video that's linked down below in the description. You will need that. If you have any other questions, I'll leave a link in the description to a community we can check out. I'll also leave links to other resources down there, such as a load of templates, almost 1,000 templates that you can check out for free. Also, you'll be able to download this. If you've liked this video, please do give it a like. If you want to see more videos like this, please do subscribe. Download this template if you want to use it yourself and get this working for yourself. That is all from me. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.